Good morning, it's Charlene, one half of the Flights of Fancy Stitchers. It is November 17th and it is about 4:30 in the morning. I have been up and going since 1:30 this morning. Preston is on snow shift. We are actually going to have some moisture here in Colorado. So my hair is almost dry, so not quite as... I want to say thank you for the compliment that I got on my hair last week. I told myself that when I had lost 50 pounds or more that my treat was going to be to get my hair colored, and I hit 51.4 pounds lost, and I was like, screw it, this is my treat to doing so well. So I'm almost back to my real hair color. It'll be gray in no time at all, but I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. So, have lots to talk about. I have 3 finishes this week since I saw you last. Hopefully I gathered everything up because I have a mess right here. I have been busy sewing. I will show you the things that I've sewn first because 2 of them I no longer have. I have to find them here, there. I mailed them out. One of them went to a fellow stitchy friend who, she has no idea what her comment meant to me. As tiny of a comment as it was, just I think it was just said in happenstance, but to me it meant more than she will ever know. So I sent her a thank you for touching my heart. And the other one I made for my mouse. This is the first one of these bags that I had made. I have one hair right here. Oh well, I guess it'll just be waving at us the whole video. I have seen several of these on Facebook and on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, these cannot be that difficult to make. And so kind of concocted my own pattern just by looking at the ones that I had been seeing online and made my own, because I'm too cheap to buy a pattern and it's a lot easier to just come up with it in my brain. So anyway, these are the 2. Oh, there you go. Mine that I made for myself is almost exactly like this, and I'll show that here in just a minute. And then this is the one that I took the leftover chunks that I had and cut them into 2-inch squares, and this is the one that I made for Sis. So I was really happy with how they both turned out, and I have tons and tons and tons of scraps that, I mean, they're not part of a set. Like this was a bundle of 5 fat quarters that I had picked up at Hobby Lobby. I actually picked up 2 of them. So they, were all coordinating, but I think that this would look really cool with the scrappiness because I like scrappy quilts. So I don't know if I'm going to put any of them into my shop or not, into my Etsy shop. I haven't decided. I have 3 bags in there and a bunch of zipper pulls or scissor fobs, whatever you want to call them, that Morgan has made. So make sure you step into my Etsy shop and check that out. I also have all my novels that make really great Christmas presents, so there's my plug for the week for checking out the Etsy shop. And I will put the links to the Etsy shops and my Amazon page and all that good stuff down below. So I've showed you those bags. This one, and this is one of the zipper pulls that Sis had made. Oh, turn it around so you can see it, with a little owl. So this is the fabric that I showed you guys last week. This is a piece of fabric that my mother-in-law actually sent to me. And then the inside is a little bit of both. So some of that left over, and then, can I show that? Yes. And then the blue to coordinate. And I made this one for Hello Pumpkin, and then the back is the same. So that was fun. So now I have a bag for this one. And then the next one that I made was, and the fabric on this one was, I've had this fabric forever, was just some blue reindeer. And this has my festive cupcakes, because this is going to be my focal piece for December, kind of like I'm doing my Nora in November for next year. And this is another one that Morgan made. I don't know if she has any more of these on our Etsy page or not. I think she said that she was only able to get 3 of these little guys, but you'll have to go on and check, because like I said, I cannot remember for sure. And then the last one that I made, this is very similar to the one that I made my friend. And then the inside of this one is plaid. I use the pretty of this in there, and then the inside is the plaid. And the reason being is, so this holds my butterfly forest. And for those of you that have been here for a while, you know that I started that on the day that my dad died, which will be 15 years in June. And I have decided that it is time to get this done. I want it out of my whips, and I want it on my wall. The reason that I chose the plaid coordinating fabric for the inside of this is that plaid was my favorite, or my dad's favorite, for when I would make his shirts. That was his favorite fabric. So I thought that that was perfect as another homage to my dad. What I have decided to do on this one is I have taken this pattern and I have divided it into 12, which comes out to, I'm trying to remember, 2,376, I think. That seems right. That seems like the number that I will do each month. And I'm not sure, my friend that I made this bag for, I'm not sure how she wants to go about working on hers. I have obviously done a center start on mine, so I don't know if I'll like work up to the top and then work down, or if I'll just start from where I'm at and then work in those sections back and forth, you know, as I've divided it up, because it ends up being, I think, 18 rows wide, and then of course all the way across the whole pattern. So, and then this is another one of the little zipper pulls that this made. So anyway, that is going to be moving forward into the first of the year. I will be starting to work on this every month. So, all right, so those are my project bags that I got done. And I have several more that I want to get made up, but I'm probably gonna step back away from making project bags and get busy working on Christmas. So, coffee this morning. I don't know if you can read it anymore. It's almost washed off, but it's basically a Monday quote. So this is always my cup on Monday mornings. All right, my finishes that I have 3 of them, as I talked to you guys about. So I finished September. Yay! It is done. So now I have August, November, and December left, and I will have all of these little guys done. So that makes me very happy. And then I finished up my ornaments. I had 2 left to finish. So this one is the L. This is for Morgan's boyfriend, Logan. And I finished hers and Dalton's and Preston's, and I've even fully finished them. So they're ready for the tree. I just need to get these 2 finished. And then this one is mine. And these were out of a, I think it was World of Cross Stitch. I'm pretty sure that's what they were out of. Anyway, I'm going to try to do better about making ornaments for all of us every year. So, yeah, let's see how I do. All right, numbers for the month so far, as of last night, I am at 6,099, And for the year, I am at 119,861. And I actually looked it up yesterday, and I must have ramped it up like in this week last year, because now I'm only like 4,200 stitches ahead of last year. So I must have been stitching for Christmas. When I was looking at it, there was a lot of full coverage in my list too. So, okay. Floss tube that I have watched. I have watched Emily, Crafting Emily. She is over in the UK. I have watched Sarah, Stitchin' Mommy. Heidi, Potty Mouth Stitcher. Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. And then I wrote down I don't remember who this one is, and I don't want to mention it because I can't remember. I just wrote down her name, and her name and not her channel name. I'll have to go back through my history. Either way, I will tag them down below because I don't want to be incorrect in saying who I watched. Yes, Snoopy, I'm talking to the peoples. I apologize if he knocks you over. Luna is like right behind us, and he's being very inquisitive because it's Luna. Okay, so another thing that, so last week we were watching the hockey game, and Preston goes, and I was doing my stitching to get caught up on my nuggets for basketball. Oh, excuse me. And Preston goes, why don't you do that for hockey? And I said, well, you know, hockey's a low scoring game. And he's like, well, yeah, but you could still do like 100 stitches a point. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. And then ironically, one of my viewers made a comment last night, or well, it came through last night or came through this morning when I got up, about how she stitches watching NHL stuff, which thank you for that comment. And I was like, okay, there's some irony to this. And so last week after Preston had said that to me, I had gotten out my notebook and I had went through, yes, Snoopy, I know, I love you too. And I had written down, just like I did on the Nuggets, I wrote down, you know, the Avs, who they played, and what their score was. And as of when I had done this, which was, well, I can tell you when it was. It was basically as of the 11th. So it was on Tuesday. They had 22 games, and that included preseason. And in adding them up, it was 83 points, which is 8,300 stitches, right? We're literally, I mean, like exactly a fourth of the season in. At 8,300 stitches, if they continue this, I mean, some of these scores, like there's a couple games in here. One game they had 9 points, one game they had 8 points, which is not common in hockey. If you're familiar with hockey at all, you know that hockey is not a high scoring sport. It's like kind of like baseball. Excuse me. And so I'm like, okay, well, again, quarter of the way through the season, 8,300 points. You know, just for giggles, kick it back to 8,000. That's 32,000 stitches, potentially. What do I have that I could potentially finish in hockey season if I was to get caught up and then stay the course moving forward? And so I went through all of my stitches, and I wanted something on Pattern Keeper that, because it's very easy for me to, you know, watch the game and then mark it off. I don't lose track of myself like I do, sorry guys, on a paper pattern when I'm, you know, looking up watching football or basketball or whatever. And so I went through all of my patterns, and I found my Quick Stitch Aries. Her total stitches, 31,350, and I already had a portion, I don't remember the exact number. I think I had 1,500 or 1,600 stitches done already, which left me with just a frog hair over 30,000 stitches left. And I thought, you know what? This is the one I'm going to do. So I got her all out and I started working on getting caught up last night. I wanted to get started back on it sooner, but I was trying to get caught up on a few other things, and then during the day, like I said, I've been focusing on my bags. I was actually going to devote a lot of time to her on Saturday, and we ended up doing almost a 3-mile hike. We went up just up the road from us here, about, I don't even think it's 5 miles. We went and we hiked up Mount Falcon, which is about 7,800 feet. Amazing hike, absolutely beautiful views. And so Saturday, I didn't even touch her. Yep, 1:30's catching up with me. So this is where I am at on her now. I'm all the way across, and I have these first 3 blocks of 10 done. And I'm going to, because I really like this. This is a Sarah brainchild, and I love it, and it works for me, and it keeps me from making mistakes with my count, which I very seldom do, but I am human and I do make mistakes. So I'm going to continue, filling in the box of 10, of course carrying my thread wherever, but moving across in the typewriter method. So this is what I'm hoping to get done. I will work on it. So like last night, I knew that I could get 200 stitches in. So that's what I did. So the first, right in the coffee. Good job. The first game that had 200 stitches on it for the abs was clear back on looks like the 4th of October. They're not going to be in any particular order when I, post them on Facebook or, show them on here, because like today, which I know I won't, but for example, let's say that I had a chance to get in 500 stitches, then I would be getting this one done. You see what I'm saying? Until I can get caught up, I'm going to be bouncing around, filling in what I can on some of these. I don't want to carry it over into another day. I want it to be, I want to be able to get that allotted amount of stitches I need done at that time, if that makes sense. I don't want to be carrying it over and then get myself confused as to where I'm at. So moving forward, this will be another one. So thank you to my viewer who told me about her stitching on the NHL, and thank you to my dear husband, because his suggestion as well. So great minds think alike. And I'll make progress on some stitching. So that makes me happy. Where are we at? Okay. When I finished on September, I spun my wheel because I have my list of projects that it started out as 27 that I wanted to focus on finishing. And I spun it, and it spun my Earth Dragon, which I started, I either started this one in 20 or 22. Yeah. So, which I thought that this was ironic because I had started this one for Preston. And I could very potentially get this one done in time for him for Christmas. And he doesn't watch my Flosstubers, so, well, I don't think he does. Anyway, don't tell him. Shh, secret. So this is a piece of fabric that I had dyed. Trying to remember top. And I essentially sink dyed this with, I know for sure I used a green and maybe a brown. I was going for that earth look, but I wanted it to be very, very subtle because I didn't want it to take away. And then I had him pick out a couple different specialty thread browns, again, earth. So this is where I'm at now, since I've spun it again, which was, I'm trying to remember what day I'd done that. maybe Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Friday. I've essentially worked here in this dragon. So I'm not quite halfway done. Granted, I've got this little tiny bit done, but I still need to come down here, but I'm all the way to the top, to the side, and of course to the bottom. So I am hoping, because that would be really cool to get done in time for him for Christmas. And then when I finish this one, I have the other 3 elements that I'll have him pick another one, and I'll get started on them because I want to make the whole set. All right. Oh, and I have some plans to tell you guys about for future stitching too. Next one I worked on was my Wave Star, which I'm using for the Nuggets, and they've had 3 games since I saw you guys last. They actually play tonight. Yeah, tonight they play the Bulls. So I stitched on this when we watched the game the other night when they played the Timberwolves. That was a good game. There was a lot of back and forth, and we were missing some key players, and they were in foul trouble early, and then we got into foul trouble, and so it was a whole thing, but it was a good game. I was kind of disappointed in how much foul trouble we got into, but it's very heated with the Timberwolves. There's a lot of competition there, and so I think that's why it kind of tends to get a little ugly. I worked exactly opposite of what I told you guys I was going to do. So I guess kind of. I'm still, kind of working my way across. I had picked up this thread because I think I had like 2 or 3 of this color of stitches that I needed to work, coming across. And then I just went ahead and brought it over. As you can see, I've still got a little bit left on my thread. And then when this thread is done, I need to come down and pick back up here. This is, it's either 939 or 823, or 820, I can't remember which one it is. It's one of the darker blues. And then bring this over and get this line back up. So I'm very happy with how it's looking. It's very pretty. And this one, because I allotted myself on an average of 90 points a game, and the stitches that I put into it since I've seen you was 122, 130, and 123, which would be 375. And I only allotted myself 90 per game, so I think I'm doing really well on how fast this is coming together. Again, it's very, very possible to have a finish on this one before, or basically in the season. Next one I worked on, of course, was yesterday for the Broncos, and I am doing the Mandala Rooster, and we played the Chiefs yesterday. It was a good game. It was a really good game. And I told Preston after the fact, I'm like, okay, in my mental mind, I had an idea who was going to win the game all along. He goes, what do you mean? Well, when I showed this to you last, I was right here in this blue. I had to finish it off, and then I wanted to get this cream in before I put in the darker colors around it, because the fuzzies. So I came up and I put that one in, and then I came back down and I did basically working on the tail up and around. I worked on the orange and again on the white. Bronco colors, blue, orange, white. I thought it was just kind of funny because it wasn't something I planned. I was totally following up the pattern, up the tail, like I wanted to continue up and around the tail, minus this little bit of cream because I want to get it done, which I had a color finish too. So I thought that was kind of ironic. I told him, I said, Maybe that was my threads prediction of who was going to win the game. It was close. We didn't win it until the end, which is what we do, but we did win, so it's a W, and now we're ahead in the AFC, and the Chiefs are, what are the Chiefs, third in the AFC now? AFC West? I think they're third, because San Diego lost yesterday. Is it San Diego? Or whatever, the Chargers. They'll always be the San Diego Chargers. I guess they're in LA now, aren't they? Whatever, the Chargers. They lost yesterday too, so yeah. But that's where I got with my very pretty rooster. I love him, he's so pretty. And on this one, so I did the math, I have 1,334 stitches left. I think that's right. And we have, anyway, whatever we have left, I need to have at least 222 stitches a game. That doesn't count playoffs. That's just regular season. So, and next week is a bye week, so it won't get any love next week. So yeah. But if we make playoffs, then I can ramp it up a little bit. Anyway, we'll see. I'm just happy we won, because honestly, I didn't know if we could beat the Chiefs. I really didn't. And it was a good game. I was proud of them. They did good. Okay, last thing that I worked on, which I've been working on her every day, that is my Nora Corbett Aries. Made quite a bit of progress on her this week, a lot of beadwork. I am almost to the halfway point, which I'm more than halfway done, but I'm almost, halfway down the pattern. So this is where I'm at on her now. So halfway point, I believe, is right at the bottom of her horn. And I still need to do, there's some beadwork right in here, and then of course I need to finish up her skin. So I'm not quite to the halfway point, but it's more than halfway obviously, because I've brought this down. I did mess up by one stitch, which you can't see it now because I've sewn it in correctly, but I had brought this down and I had messed up. I got clear down here and was getting ready. I had brought this pink across. Hey, Poe. And I'm like, something's not right. And sure enough, clear back up here when I had started, like the second or third row, please stop. I had miscounted. I had put these two under that one instead of beside it. So when I brought the pink across, it made me, I had 5 here instead of 4. So I had to rip all that out and then pick it back up and sew it in correctly, which it's fine now. I mean, at least I cut, hey, quit, you're gonna knock that down. But I think today I will probably work on some beadwork. I'm waiting for daylight because it's obviously a lot easier when I've got good sun coming in the window. But yeah, I put in this, and I realized that there's a big swath of color here that's 2 colors that's blended. So I think I'm going to wait until I get, because there's some more of that same blended part up in here, and then that way I can just knock it all out at once. But yeah, I'm very happy with her. And I done some math on this one too yesterday, and I kept saying, well, I'm going to sew on it what I can, and if I get it done, great. And if I ramp this up to even 150 instead of the 100, I could get this done by the end of the month. And I would love to have it done. That could be like my Christmas present to myself. I don't know. I think I'm going to try. We'll see. All right, so plans moving forward. I don't know why I have that one out. So I will plan on being back to you guys. My plan is to come back on the 25th, or excuse me, on the 24th. The 25th, Preston is off. He has a doctor's appointment, and Dalton will be home this Friday. But Dalton works on Monday, and so does Preston. So I'm hoping that I can film while everybody's at work. And then that way I'll be good for the week, and then we'll be back on track until Dalton comes home for Christmas, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do there. So that's my plan. I will see you before then, but I am going to share with you that, why is this in there? That's weird. So I finally got my printer cartridge in, so I can make working copies of all my projects. So I am going to start my Thanksgiving bird. And I have almost all of the threads. I am missing, I think I'm missing the thread and then the little pumpkin button. So I got those ordered, so they should be here soon. So I'm going to start him on Thanksgiving Day. And then I also treated myself to a couple of new patterns. I'm going to try and fold these so I don't show too much of the pattern on the back. So this is a Jardin Privé, and the colors are a little bit different than what they have on here. You can see the variegation in the bird, but the bird actually just calls for, I think, yeah, just a simple gray. So I might change that up a little bit because it just calls for DMC colors. I don't know, but I'm going to start this one. And then, of course, chickens, because chickens. And I believe that's the workshop. I could be wrong. Morgan, if you watch this, correct me if I'm wrong. So this one, I must have printed this one before I changed the color because it's really light. But I love those colors. Anyway, I love having my working copies so things don't happen to things, because yeah, I can't write in my patterns. I'm weird that way. Anyway, those are my three start plans, since I have 3 finishes. This one would have been in the works whether I would have had a finish or not, because like I told you guys before, I want to have I want to make all those little birds. I still need to get the stitching bird, and Morgan got me the coffee bird, and she got me the quilting bird. And I have the 4th of July bird. I can see it, but I can't remember what it was. I think I'm missing 3 or 4. I think. Oh, there's what is it, a farmhouse one, or, yeah, I might get that one. I haven't decided yet. This one, and I don't know why I had it out, but this one is my Christmas bird. And I've got my working copy in with my thread and stuff in here. This one I am missing a color on it too, and the button. So when I ordered the stuff for Thanksgiving bird, I don't have hardly anything done on this one at all. I was really hoping that this one would get spun so I could finish this one in time for Christmas, but I'm staying true to my plan because it works and I'm making progress. Okay, I think that that's everything I have. Like I said, Dalton will be home on Friday. It's supposed to snow, so please send good juju for him. Preston's on snow shift pretty much all week. and then we're supposed to have kind of a little bit of a lull, and then it looks like it might be in again the week of Thanksgiving. I am not going to complain at all. We need the moisture so bad. I'm not going to complain about snow shift at all. I think that's it. I don't have anything else exciting to share. Stitching and working on Christmas presents, and I don't see anything else around here to show you guys that I got. Yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys have a great week. Like I said, unless something unforeseen happens, I will be back on the 24th, and hopefully I don't know if I'll have any more finishes by then, because I don't have anything close to finishing, but I will at least be making some dents on things. So have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Be safe. Stay warm. Stay cool wherever you're at. Thank you for coming and visiting me and supporting our channel. And like I said, I will put all the links to Christmas shopping and YouTube or Flosstubers and everything down below. And have a great day. Bye, guys.